Welcome to the Stuttgart Reds softball. My name is Ken the Voice Hudson. No frets, I do have my Darth Vader microphone today. Next to me is the CEO, the Master of Disaster, the new Marvel superhero, Yara Drobny. Make sure you check the homepage for the photos from the world's best photographer, Iris Drobny. Iris, you got to pay me to say that. Lineup for the Stuttgart Reds. Pitching, Ani Stepniak. Catching is Alia Petzold at first base. Corina Appo. Second base, Jessica Weil. At third base, Makeo Kalau. Shortstop is Hope Cornell. Left, center, and right, Maite Homburg. Julie Bräuniger. And Kira Munske for those who are missing Jenny Weil. She is apparently studying up north and playing in Cologne, I believe it is. Batting lineup, leading off Patricia Uribe, followed by Silje Germain, Saskia Glunz, Brian Lent. And that pitch just a little low for ball number one. Number five batter Hannah Herrera, followed by Sina van Zeppelin, Julie Helber, Yasmin Shable, and Sarah Kuchera. Pitch number two, just a little low. 2 balls, no strikes. And 3 straight balls to start off the game for Annie Stepniak. There's strike number one, 3-1. Up high. Oh, a leadoff walk for Patricia Uribe brings up Silje Germain. Might recognize the last name, yes. Ex Stuttgart Bundesliga player Billy Germain. Now his wife. And that pitch up high. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul ball straight back. 1-1 to count. And a bunt up in the air, called for, caught by the third base woman, Makea Kalau, out number one. So an attempt sacrifice, not successful. That pitch on the outside and a stolen base for Patty Uribe. Throw offline. And the pitch a strike. Swing and a miss. Strike number two. No balls, 2 strikes. And that pitch looked like a changeup high and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second base, 1 out. And that on the outside corner. Hot cheese at the knees for a strikeout. Out number two. Brings up catcher Brienne Lent. side. That ball inside. Strike number one, top outside corner of the strike zone. Two balls, one strike. That fastball on the outside corner again. Evens the count of two. Triple deuces. Two balls, two strikes, two outs. Low fills the count. And that off speed pitch right down the pipe for a looking strikeout number three. No runs on no hits, no errors, one left on. We'll be right back with the bottom of the first inning. Defense for the Tübingen Hawks. Pitching Sina van Zeppelin, catching Breon Lent. At first base, Jasmine Scheible. Second base, Silja Germain. At third base is Hannah Herrera. Shortstop, Patricia Uribe. Left, center, and right, Sarah Kuchera. Julie Helber and Saskia Glunz. Leading off for the Stuttgart Reds, Annie Stepniak. Pitching for the Reds today. See if she can help her pitching. She looks at that pitch for strike number one. Low inside. 1-1 to count. The rest of the lineup for the Stuttgart Reds. Jessica Weil batting second, followed by Hope Cornell, Makea Kalau. Batting fifth, Aliyah Petzold. Sixth is Julie Breuniger. That pitch high. Two balls, one strike. 7, 8, and 9, Kira Manske, Maita Holmberg, and Corina Appe. That pitch on the top outside part of the strike zone. Two balls, two strikes. And that ball down the third base line, called foul. Very, very close call. But, of course, the home plate umpire has the best angle. And if the ball hits the glove and the ball's outside the white line, of course, it is a foul ball. Probably pretty lucky for Annie Stepniak. I'm sure the third base lady would have thrown her out at first. And that ball hit hard, hit far, but foul. So count remains 2-2. Pitcher facing pitcher battle here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's ball 3. See who wins the battle. And a walk. Base on balls for Annie Stepniak brings up Jessica Weil. Jessica getting signs from coach and dad. Marcus Weil down at third base. See what he has Jesse do. And takes the first pitch down the middle for a strike. Of course, the difference in base stealing between softball and baseball. In baseball, they can go at any time. In softball, the ball has to leave the pitcher's hand before the runner can take off. And that on the outside corner shows bunt pulls back. Strike number 2. No balls, 2 strikes. And a foul ball out of play. Of course, it is called softball, but them balls aren't that soft. If you're standing in there and get hit, it does hurt. And that ball popped up and hits the ground. Unfortunately, Annie Stepniak not able to get too far off of first base. That ball drops and they throw from center field to second. For out number 1, Jessica Weil safe at first on the fielder's choice. Up to bat, Hope Cornell. No chance, of course, Annie to make it to second base. That ball up high for ball 1. Of course, if she gets too far off first base, then they throw back to first on the catch, and then it's a double play. Ball 1, 1 out, and that pitch hit and caught by the shortstop for out number 2. And up to bat, third base, Lady Makaya Kalau out of Hawaii via New Zealand to the Stuttgart Reds. And ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3. On the inside corner, strike number 1. 3 balls, 1 strike. And that ball fouled out of play. Count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jessica Weil at first base. And that foul ball over the first base fence. Count stays full. And a ground ball. Throw to first, not in time. An infield single keeps the inning alive. Jessica Weil advancing to second base. And up to bat, Aliyah Petzold. That pitch up high, ball one. Inside. 2-0 the count. And there's strike number one. Two balls, two strikes. Or excuse me, two balls, one strike. Two outs. Ground ball in the hole. And coach sending Jessica home. And catcher not able to control the ball. RBI single for Aaliyah Petzold scores. Jessica Weil, Stuttgart up 1-0, and on the throw home, Makaya Kalau able to advance to third, and Aaliyah able to advance to center at second. Stuttgart in the lead, 1-0, and up to bat, Julie Bräuniger. And that pitch just high. Just low, 2-0. Swing and a miss. Two balls, one strike. And a bunt. Right back to the pitcher. Throw down. Call out. Close play at first. Stuttgart able to put one run across the board on two hits, no errors, two left on. One inning in the books. Stuttgart 1, Tübingen 0. One to nothing, the score in the Schwaben duel. Tübingen Stuttgart. RBI single from Aaliyah Petzold in the bottom of the first inning scores the first run. Up to bat for Tübingen. They will be leading off with Anna Herrera, followed by Sina van Zeppelin, Julie Helber. That pitch, top part of the strike zone, strike number one. That pitch right down the middle, 0-2 the count. Swing and a miss. Oh, yeah. Strikeout for out number one. And now on the other side, pitcher versus pitcher duel. Sina van Zeppelin, pitcher for Tübingen, face in the batter's box. And she takes that ball, fouls it down the First base line, almost in the first base dugout. Strike number one. And another foul ball. Strike number two. And that off-speed pitch completely fools Cena. She swings and misses. Catcher has to throw down to first because she drops the ball, but it is a strikeout. So Annie Stepniak wins duel number two of pitcher versus pitcher. 2 outs and up to bat. Center fielder Julie Helber. And that just a little bit high. Ball one. Another difference between softball and baseball. If you watch the young lady on what's not a mound, called strike 1-1. There is no mound that they're pitching off, and of course, in fast pitch softball, they pitch underhand and not overhand. That hits the outside corner by Mukasekele for strike number two. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Just a little low. Tried to get her chase. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. We'll be right back with the bottom of the second inning. Oh, bottom of the second inning. Up to bat, Kira Manske, followed by Mighty Homburg and Corina Ampe. Of course, Kira Manske, daughter of Stuttgart first base coach and longtime president Chris Manske. And she takes pitch number one for strike number one. Swing and a miss. Strike two. No balls and 2 strikes. And a foul ball out of play. Keeps Kira in the batter's box. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for out number one. Both pitchers doing a good job. And as you just seen, another difference in baseball and softball. After an out, everybody comes in, gives high vibes, and then jumps back out. Swing and a miss, strike number one. That's a little bunny hop. And time called by the umpire. stern talking to by the umpire. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. No balls, 2 strikes. And another strikeout for out number 2.
That's 2 outs right here.
And there they are together, high-fiving everybody, and run out and jump. Gotta love softball. Number 9 hitter, Karina Apple, first base lady. Shows bunt, swings, and misses. Swing and a miss. So, Cena Van Zeppelin dealing. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And a foul ball. Caught by the catcher, but it doesn't count because it came off the fence.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. You're the Reds ballpark.
And a ground ball off the chest of the shortstop. Safe at first on the E6.
E6 right here. We got the start switch for today's
That brings a leadoff batter, Annie Stepniak. 2 outs, runner at first. And that pitch misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Of course, these 2 teams have played many a game. And up the middle. And center fielder lets the ball bounce out of her glove. And with that, runners are able to advance. Runners at second and third. Jessie Weil up to bat.
the play we have number 12.
2 runners in scoring position for the Stuttgart Red. And Jessie swinging at the first pitch, fouls it out of play. Strike number 1. And that off-speed pitch too low. Pitchers in fast pitch softball able to throw a myriad of different pitches, from fastball, changeup, of course, the 2 most common, but you can get a dropping fastball, a curveball. That pitch high. 2 balls, 1 strike. And if you think it's easy to hit a softball because it's bigger, that ball out of play. Go back to, I think, the 1998 All-Star game from baseball where Miss Jenny Finch pitched against some of the top hitters in the major leagues and made them look silly. And that ball grounded, foul. Of course, even though the ball is not coming at you at 90 miles an hour, if you look at the distance between the pitcher and home plate, it's much closer. And that ball foul out of play. Jessie giving us her best impression of the Bee Gees song, She's Staying Alive. And another foul ball. Staying alive, staying alive. That ball popped up. Will it stay? Nope. Over the fence. And that's foul ball number 72. Two balls, two strikes, two outs. Triple deuces. Pitch. That ball hit to the shortstop. Step and throw in time. After all that, pitcher Zena von Zeppelin wins the battle. No runs on one hit, two errors, two left on, two innings in the books. A lot of twos. Score is 1-0. Inning number 3 in a very tight 1-0 ball game in favor of the Stuttgart Reds. Jasmine Scheible, Sarah Kuchera, and then leadoff Patricia Uribe. Pitch 1 on the inside corner for strike number 1. So both pitchers doing a really good job. That just a little low. Ball 1-1 to count. And foul ball almost in the first base dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
One ball.
Swing and a miss. Oh, yeah. High fastball for strikeout. 6th strikeout in a row for Annie. And I just got hit by Yara for jinxing it. I didn't jinx it. That ball fouled straight back. Strike number 1. Swing and a miss. Strike number 2. And that off-speed pitch out by window shopping for strikeout and out number 2. Brings up leadoff Patricia Uribe, only Tübingen so far in the first 9 to actually get on base. She takes that pitch outside, ball 1, and time call. And umpire saying, please turn off the music, of course. Music when the pitcher's pitching shouldn't be playing. 1 ball, no strikes. And that one on the outside corner. 1-1.
Two outs.
Swing and a miss. Strike number 2.
0-2. One ball, two strikes, 2 outs.
Oh, yeah. Strikeout. Number 8 in a row. And now I can't have jinxed it because the stadium announcer said it too. No runs, no hits, no errors. 8 strikeouts in a row for Annie Stepniak. We'll be right back with the bottom of the third inning. Bottom of the third inning, leading off for the
Shortstop.
Stuttgart Reds, Hope Cornell, followed by Makea Kalau, Aliyah Petzold. Hope, of course, in the last home game with 2 Hope runs. See if she can get another one here. That pitch, low, ball 1.
First pitch, Zena. On ball, number 1.
That's in there for strike number 1, 1-1 to count. And that line drive
To left.
all the way to the fence.
Second.
And good job by the left fielder to keep Hope to a single.
Red Star.
A long single for Hope Cornell. Safe at first base. Makea Kalau now up to bat. Okay, it looks like she's switch hitting going from the left side this time. And she fouls that one out of play. And a bunt. Rolls foul. That could be why Makea on the left side because it is a couple steps closer to first base if you're bunting. But of course, now with 2 strikes, I doubt very seriously she'll be bunting. And now she switches to the right side. Of course, this must be her stronger side as far as a hitter. And she grounds that between short and third, safe. And Hope trying to stretch it. And tag must have missed her. Called by home plate umpire. Safe. So single for Makea. Hope Cornell sliding in safe at third, knocking the dust off, and on the throw to third. Makea able to advance to second. So we have runners at second and third With no outs and up to bat, Aaliyah Petzold. Aaliyah singled in her last at bat. And bunts this time. Check and throw in time at first, but not in time to catch Hope at home. A sacrifice hit scores Stuttgart's second run. With the distances in softball, very, very hard to keep that run from scoring. Stuttgart gets their second run of the ball game, and on the throw to first, Makaya Kalau advances to third, so runner at third with one out. That pitch in there for strike number one. And another bunt. This time fielded by a third and safe at first and safe at home. So a nice bunt and quick hustle by Julie Breuninger gets herself a base hit and an RBI, and Stuttgart able to bring across their third run of the ball game. One out. Batting is Kira Manske. And she swings at that first pitch and misses ball number one, or strike number one. Inside, 1-1 to count. That ball fouled out of play. One ball, two strikes, only one out. Runner at first, two runs already across the board in this inning, and that ball line right back to the pitcher who makes a nice stab, and then she throws down to first base for the double play. Nothing that Julie Bruniger can do about that. Oh, in the score sheet, Kira Manska goes out F-1, and then the double play 1-3. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, nobody left on. 3 innings in the book. Stuttgart 3, Tübingen 0. Top of the 4th inning, leading off for the Tübingen Hawks, Silje Germain, Saskia Glunz, Brianna Lent. 3-0 for Stuttgart in this Schwabenduel. Swing and a miss. Strike number 1. And swing and a miss for strike number 2. Music was still playing, and now the umpire says, now no more music. Of course, he has the right to say that. He is the boss. Except for not Yara's boss. Swing and a miss. Oh, yeah. Strikeout for out number one in the top of the fourth inning. And the little bunny hop and a leg kick. Another one of the bigger differences between baseball and softball, of course, the distances between the bases. That ball fouled off the fence, right back to the pitcher. Strike number one. That's why I play softball now because I don't have to run so far. I'm lazy. But the distance between the bases is much shorter. And that ball hit straight away center field. But center fielder Julie Breuniger almost did not even have to move, but that breaks up the strikeout string at 9 in a row. Of course, pitcher Annie Stepniak takes the out. 2 outs up to bat. Catcher Brianne Lent. She takes that pitch up high, ball one. That one on the outside corner, 1-1 the count. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. That ball foul out of play. Heads up, you people in the stands. We have triple deuces again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And that pitch inside, count is full. And that off-speed pitch completely fooled Brianne Lent. Strikeout ends the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Only blemish on pitcher Stepniak's resume so far in this game is the leadoff walk. Since then, 12 up and 12 down, and from those 12, 10 strikeouts. She is wheeling and dealing in this game. We'll be right back with the bottom of the fourth inning. Shout out to Rising Curve. Thank you for the positive comments. We have the bottom of the fourth inning. Stuttgart 3, Tübingen 0. A little bit of defensive changes. I don't have them all. I know that Saskia Glunz is now the pitcher. The pitcher, Zena Van Zeppelin, now first base. A new young lady in to catch. The catcher, Brienne Lent, is out in left field. Leading off, Maita Humberg. Ball one to her. She'll be followed by Karina Appel and Annie Stepniak. Again, 3-0 in favor of the Stuttgart Reds. That pitch, off speed, strike number 2. Just a little bit outside ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's ball number 2. 2-2 the count. Another one of the biggest differences between baseball and softball, of course. If you look at the ball itself, ball is much bigger. But even though they call it a softball, it is not soft. Trust me, I've been hit by one a few times. It will leave a mark. And that pitch, high. Or ball number 4. In the standings so far in the Bundesliga softball, South showing bunt, coming back, ball low and inside, ball 1. Tübingen, of course, only has 2 games in the standings, but they won both against Karlsruhe, so they're leading at 2-0. They beat Karlsruhe last week in 8-1 and 7-6. That pitch up high, ball 2. Then your Stuttgart Reds at 5-1, beating Mannheim 11-1 and 3-2, beating Karlsruhe 11-0 and 5-0 before splitting last week in Freising. That pitch outside. Oh, Mannheim, Freising, and Regensburg all at 3-3 with Karlsruhe in 6th place at 0-6. That's a 4-pitch walk. Puts runners at first and second and brings up leadoff hitter Annie Stepniak. A walk and a single for her so far today. Of course, winner of these 2 games will be on top of the league. If Tübingen and Stuttgart split, then Tübingen will stay up with a 3-1 and Stuttgart with a 6-2. But other than that, if one team wins both, they'll be in the top of the league. That pitch just a little bit high, ball. And high, ball 2. And ball 3. 3 straight balls for Annie Stepniak. In the North, you have Bonn leading the North Division at 6-0 with Neukirchen, Westling at 2-2. There's walk number 3 for Stuttgart. So pitcher change, not bringing any luck for Tübingen. Base is now loaded. So Bonn leading the Bundesliga softball North, followed by Neukirchen and Wessling at 2-2. Bonn at 6-0. Cologne at 3-5. Hamburg at 1-3, and Ratingen at 0-2. Those are the Bundesliga North in softball. Again, Tübingen leading with 2 wins and no losses, followed by Stuttgart at 5-1, and then a logjam, third, fourth, and fifth. Mannheim, Freising, and Regensburg at 3-3, with Karlsruhe in sixth at 0-6. Small chit chat with the coach, and that pitch high for ball number 1. Bases loaded, no place to put Jessica Weil. Jesse, safe on a fielder's choice, scored the game's first run and then grounded out to the shortstop. And that ball gets past the catcher, and the throw goes to the old pitcher, not the new pitcher. So Maite Hamburg on the wild pitch, able to score. Corina and Annie able to move up to third and second base. And there's ball number 3. And fourth walk in a row. And coach back out of the dugout. Probably going to take his pitcher off the mound because unfortunately she faced 4 batters, walked 4 batters. And let's see what the changes are going to be. As soon as we find out, we'll let you know. So Julie Helber gets her chance to come in and throw some pitches. Saskia Gluns goes out in the center field, so it looks like a straight up switch. Oh, up to bat, bases loaded. Hope Cornell. And that pitch just outside, ball 1. That's ball number 2. No, 2 balls, no strikes. No place to put Hope on the bases. Bases loaded with Reds. Stuttgart already has 1 run in the game. And that pitch in there for strike number 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. That is ball number 3. Walk is an RBI, of course. Run batted in that you don't really have to work for. And that ball grounded to the shortstop. Makes a nice throw to third base to get the out. Can't keep the run from scoring. Stuttgart scores run number 5 on the ground ball fielder's choice. Tübingen gets their first out.
Number 21.
And up to bat, Makea Kalau. 2 for 2 in the game so far. And that pitch just a little high. One ball, one strike, one out. There's ball number 2. That's ball 3. 3 balls, one strike. For those of you who want to actually see some softball, love to invite you out next week, Sunday. I believe it's the 14th. Stuttgart facing Regensburg. And that ball hit high and deep. And almost over the fence, just at the base of the fence. Of course, runners having to wait to see if that ball is caught or not. But all the way from second base on the double from Makea Kalau. Hope Cornell at third base. Jesse Weil scores for Stuttgart. Third run of the inning, 6-0, and up to bat, Alia Petzold.
Ali.
And she takes that pitch for strike number 1.
Strike ball number 1. One out here in the Reds ballpark.
And a line drive right to the second or shortstop. Patricia makes a nice catch on it for 2 outs. It's the second out. Runners have to stay put. And that brings up Julie Bruiniger. Julie 0 for 2. Hit to the pitcher twice. She takes that pitch low for strike number 1. And that one scratches the bottom part of the strike zone. Strike number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Strike. 2 outs here. Bottom of the 4th.
Ball number 2. And ball hit in between the short and center and right field, all the way to the fence. Scores 2 more runs and all the way to third base. A stand-up triple for Julie Bruiniger. 2 more runs for Stuttgart. 8-0 now the score. That ball in the gap between right and center field. Of course, with the shorter bases, easier to get triples in softball than in baseball. Even though the field is a little bit smaller. And timeout call by the umpire. There are mercy rules in softball. I'm not 100% what they are. That ball in the dirt, but nice block by the catcher. And if you're going to block the ball, that's the direction you want to block it towards third base so the runner doesn't have a chance. That pitch high outside. 2-0 to count. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 1 strike. Other games in the softball Bundesliga yesterday. Karlsruhe, Regensburg. Karlsruhe loses again. First game, Regensburg 4, Karlsruhe 1. Second game, Regensburg 19, Karlsruhe 11. That pitch, ball number 3. A lot closer the games in Mannheim. Mannheim win game number 1, 1-0 before losing to Freising, 3-1 in the game 2. That ball over to first base head for a single and an RBI for Kira Manske. Run number 9 for the Stuttgart Reds. And that brings up Maite Humberg, the person who started this inning off with a walk. What was cruising along as a very good ball game. And now 6 runs in this inning alone for Stuttgart. And it looks like a possible change for the Reds. Terry Pfister coming in to replace Maite Humberg. The Hawks make a change, also a new right fielder for them. And that pitch low, ball 1. There's strike number 1, 1-1 to count. In the softball Bundesliga North, Cologne takes 2 from Rotingen. Game 1, 13-2. Game 2, 18-1. Pretty much a domination. Today, Wessling's playing Neukirchen. That ball fouled straight back. And Hamburg Bonn. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first. Swing and a miss on the high. Heat ends the inning. Not too soon for the Tübingen Hawks. 6 runs on only 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on. 3 hits, 1 left on. We'll be right back with the top of the 5th inning. Stuttgart leading 9-0. We're in the top of the fifth inning. Batting for Tübingen, Hannah Herrera, Sina Van Zeppelin, Julie Helber, and that ball chopped. And no problem for the first baseman for out number one. So for those of you who are wondering, unless I was told incorrect, mercy rules in softball will be 10 runs after 4 innings, 7 after 5 innings. So if that is correct, Tübingen needs to score at least 3 runs. Sina Van Zeppelin fouls that ball off. And no balls, 1 strike, 1 out. And that ball fouled off of the first base dugout. No balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Oh, yeah. Strikeout for out number 2. That ball low, ball 1. Swing and a miss, 1-1 to count. So, check swing. Umpire checks with his field umpire in. No, he didn't go. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. It's triple deuces time. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Oh, yeah. Swing and a miss for strike and out number 3. And that looks like that's the ball game. Top pitching from Annie Stepniak. The only runner she let on was a leadoff walk. Other than that, she was perfect with 12 strikeouts in 5 innings. Do the math. That means only 3 outs by the field. Stuttgart wins the game. Final score 9 runs on 9 hits, no errors. And Tübingen, no runs on no hits. They had 2 errors. We will be right back with the second game starting in approximately 1/2 of an hour. Hopefully, Mother Nature lets us play game 2. So we'll be back around 20 to